Today, I want to talk about the joke AMC lawsuit and how it's about to be thrown out. Day one of the hearing has just taken place and, well, it's been a bit of a comedic joke. So stay tuned and let's make some money. And now I'll dive straight in with the key information. So, as Biggums tweeted, the judge spent a lot of today confused about what was actually going on and confused about what points the plaintiffs were actually trying to make, saying that nothing they're saying actually has any merit. The plaintiffs were suggesting that it's AMC's fault that APE was trading lower than they expected. Not the market's fault, not the hedge fund's fault, not anybody else's fault, but simply AMC's fault. The plaintiffs acknowledged that AMC at the time needed to raise capital. AMC said they did expect APE and AMC to trade around about the same level, but they didn't. But obviously that's not AMC's fault, that's just how the market priced APE. On top of this, the plaintiffs were trying to convince the judge to look at things in a different light and to look at things his way, not to look at the whole aspect. The plaintiffs spent pretty much the entire day talking about accusations, using a lot of words like "I think." They basically didn't really talk about or touch on many facts at all, just accusations and hypotheses. The judge numerous times requested them to show evidence or to show contracts or to show documentation, but of course they had no actual information, just guesses or hypotheses or accusations with no real factual basis. As a result, Biggums expects after the mess today that this entire lawsuit will get dropped. And as Robert tweeted, every ape right now is thinking, who on earth are these plaintiffs? Or in my worst attempt at an Irish accent, who is that guy? Boss Blunts also gave his version of the AMC court case update. He tweeted saying John Barton gave his entire family history and said that I've worked for many years on Capitol Hill as a lobbyist. He said, so this guy's been paid for many years as a lobbyist, and we expect to believe that he's not been paid to object against AMC. He specifically said the words, I'm hopeful that after hearing our concerns that you take the full 90 days to review. So at this point, these shills of these plaintiffs aren't even hoping for the courts to deny the reverse split and the conversion, or even hoping for them to approve the conversion. They're just simply hoping for at least another 90-day delay. He said the shorts are terrified and they're trying to delay the conversion and reverse split as long as possible. The shorts don't even care about the settlement, they don't even care about having it denied anymore because they know that it's obviously going to be approved, they just want an extra 90-day delay. As Here for the Popcorn added, he said so they don't even care if the courts decide in their favour, suggesting they don't even care about the money we're seeking, but just that the delay is sufficient. He said this is blatant obstruction. After hearing how much of a mess today's session was, I think it really does expose exactly where these plaintiffs lie and shows that they are indeed shills or short sellers just trying to delay the conversion any longer. They had zero documentation or facts or contracts to support any of their accusations against AMC and Adam Aaron. Zero kind of documentation or facts to prove any collusion between Adam Aaron and the shorts. They just spent the whole day reaffirming these accusations, using terms like I think, and hoping the judge would see it their way. He said the plaintiff suggested the reverse split will drop the number of shares by 90%, but then failed to mention that the value of his shares will also increase by 90%. I think Boss Blunts here meant 10 times. He said the objector is either a shill or a dumbass or both. I think considering how unprepared the plaintiffs came into today's session, it really just suggests that they were indeed unprepared, they were simply just paid off, and they were simply just trying to create any kind of further delay. Which again suggests even further this current lawsuit is indeed a joke lawsuit and will likely be thrown out. Now again, I said in my video the other day, I don't want to touch on AMC being on the threshold list every single day, but I've got to talk about it once more. Again, AMC is now on the threshold securities list for the 4th day in a row, being on the list again yesterday, the 28th of June. And the reason why I wanted to talk about it is because the cost to borrow fee is yet again up another 200%. It's gone from 200% to 400% to 800% and now to 1000%. I asked if we could get another 200% cost to borrow fee each and every day that AMC is on this threshold securities list, and the market said, you know what? Another one. We've now got 1,000% cost to borrow average, 1,060% cost to borrow maximum, and even 781% cost to borrow minimum. Again, I'm hoping for yet another one tomorrow again, another one for 1,200%. At this rate, it should only be another week or two before we start seeing 2,000%, 3,000%, and then 5,000% cost to borrow fee. At that point, they'll be paying 50 times their total short position in annual short selling fees. Basically paying their entire total short position every 7 trading days in just borrow fees alone. Now, Wes Christian also made a really interesting point, or a really interesting tweet here, by saying to apes, MMTLP shareholders, super stonk, Wall Street bets, and all others fighting illegal short selling and market manipulation. I've recently been attacked by Forbes in an article titled "The Looney Conspiracy Theory Threatening Wall Street." He said, "I was disappointed to observe that the article was at best poorly researched and reported, and at worst designed to intentionally mislead the public." He said, "I'll be discussing this further tomorrow at 10 AM CST. Tune in using this link for a Twitter Spaces." I think it will be really interesting to listen to this Spaces tomorrow to see exactly what Wes Christian says, but he didn't stop there. He's even written a letter to Forbes. He said, "I write in response to the article, The Looney Conspiracy Theory Threatening Wall Street, and saying for the past 20 years, my team of lawyers, consultants, experts, and I have zealously and successfully represented clients who have been victimized by naked short selling schemes." Really interestingly here, it says the cynical accusation that I've made a grandiose promise but failed to deliver results is bellied by the numerous motions to dismiss that have been denied by the state and federal courts across the country, and the tens of millions of dollars in confidential settlements against major investment banks that my team and I have accomplished on behalf of our clients. So that's actually really interesting that some of his clients have received tens of millions of dollars in confidential settlements. It'd be interesting to know which actual clients have received these settlements, but I guess we won't really find out as they're confidential settlements. It would also be interesting to know if it was the companies themselves that received this cash, or if it was actually the underlying shareholders. But he does actually say that he sent a following interview which suggests a summary of the stock fraud cases that resulted in settlements. It'll be interesting to see if we can find this interview to see which settlements he talks about and exactly how much was settled upon. And he also said the article writer has clearly demonstrated that 1, he neither thoroughly researched nor fully understands the topic of naked short selling. Number 2, that he's a shill for those brokerage firms who have made millions by manipulating companies through naked short selling. And 3, he's a writer who cannot be trusted to be fair, objective, thorough, and even-handed. It would be interesting to see whether Wes Christian tries to sue Forbes or to sue this article writer as a result, and actually what happens going forward. Now, Joshua Sky has also tweeted saying that UBS is a dead bank walking. He said they're allegedly holding all Credit Suisse's toxic swaps and counterfeit AMC, APE, and GameStop shorts. And he's asked, saying, UBS, how does holding the bag feel? And this is as a result of UBS cutting more than half of Credit Suisse's 50,000 employee workforce. UBS obviously knows they've got a huge task on hand, taking over Credit Suisse's massive losses and their giant toxic derivative liabilities. They've predicted between $6 and $12 billion in losses they're expecting, even after getting rid of half the workforce. Clearly they've got some major positions or major liabilities they need to close out of and effectively just to take the hit for. It's likely still related to Archegos and that debacle and all of those AMC, GameStop and Ape short positions they're holding. I think it will be really interesting to see over the next year or two if UBS unwinds these positions, and if they do, how much of a loss they take on, and if they don't, who exactly they pass the blame onto or pass the buck onto. But guys, be sure to let me know what you think down in the comments below. And as always guys, be sure to ding that notification bell, because that way you'll be alerted when I upload a new video. Cheers.